tricks and perfect flicks. Every corner piece fits tight. Speed puzzlers, we own the night. Puzzle mania fills the room. Hearts racing, we feel the zoom. Victory is almost near. Speed and fun, we have no fear. Puzzle pieces like a storm. Shapes and edges we transform. Patterns forming under stress. Speed puzzling at our best. Every second counts today. Focus sharp, don't drift away. Lost in pieces we unite. Building worlds with all our might. Whispers humming in the air, laughing, dancing without care. From the chaos, order springs, puzzles solved in joyful flings. Puzzle solved. Pieces flying in the air, clock is ticking, no time to spare. Colors blend into the scene, solving puzzles like a dream. Hands are moving light and quick, got our tricks and perfect flicks. Every corner piece fits tight. Speed puzzlers, we own the night. Puzzle mania fills the room. Hearts racing, we feel the zoom. Victory is almost near. Speed and fun, we have no fear. Puzzle pieces like a storm. Shapes and edges we transform. Patterns forming under stress. Speed puzzling at our best. Every second counts today. Focus sharp, don't drift away. Lost in pieces we unite. Building worlds with all our might. Whispers humming in the air, laughing, dancing without care. From the chaos, order springs, puzzles solved in joyful flings. Pieces flying in the air, clock is ticking, no time to spare. Colors blend into the scene, solving puzzles like a dream. Hands are moving light and quick, got our tricks and perfect flicks. Every corner piece fits tight. Speed puzzlers, we own the night. Puzzle mania fills the room. Hearts racing, we feel the zoom. Victory is almost near. Speed and fun, we have no fear. Puzzle pieces like a storm. Shapes and edges we transform. Patterns forming under stress. Speed puzzling at our best. Every second counts today. Focus sharp, don't drift away. Lost in pieces we unite. a dream. Hands are moving light and quick, got our tricks and perfect flicks. Every corner piece fits tight, speed puzzlers, we own the night. Puzzle mania fills the room, hearts racing, we feel the zoom. Victory is almost near, speed and fun, we have no fear. Puzzle pieces like a storm, shapes and edges we transform. Patterns forming under stress, speed puzzling at our best. Every second counts today. Focus sharp, don't drift away. Lost in pieces, we unite. Building worlds with all our might. Whispers humming in the air, laughing, dancing without care. From the chaos, order springs, puzzles solved in joyful flings. Pieces flying in the air, clock is ticking, no time to spare.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's competition. We have an unreleased puzzle and we're looking forward to the big reveal. And greetings to my co-hosts, Jim and Catherine, and to, viewers on YouTube, but yes, most of all to all our participants who are going to be taking on this puzzle today.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hello. Yes. So, Catherine, you chose the theme for today. Would you like to share?
Yes, so the theme for today is puzzle friendships. What do they mean to you? How did they blossom? Like, we want to know all about it. Mainly, this was a topic I thought we probably already covered it already, so I'm not going to suggest it. And then I thought, you know what? I'm just going to suggest it anyways. And to my surprise, we didn't even talk about it yet. Whereas, I just, the friendships are like the main thing, really, that I have gotten out of this. Friendships are just so important. And as adults, it's really, really hard to make friends. And I feel like puzzling gave us all like an in with, to make new friends through this hobby.
Yeah, so would you like to share about one or more friendships that are especially meaningful to you and how they blossomed?
I mean, mainly my friendships from my Luxembourgish team. So I went to the first World Championship not knowing anyone. And I had just seen that someone else from Luxembourg had signed up. So my mission was to find this person at Worlds and, just kind of force them to be in a pair with me for the next year and hopefully find more people so that we could form a team. And we realized that, yes, we were the only people like with a Luxembourgish nationality there, but we were not the only people from Luxembourg. And that's how we met Lenka, who then also, joined our little group and has become like my business partner today, who I talk to pretty much every day about mostly puzzle related things, but obviously also about life. And maybe I'll share some more friendship stories as the stream continues.
Yes, that would be lovely. Yes, I think especially meeting people from your own country in another country and then coming back together and then making a team to go back to the World Championships and also other competitions in between, and even start some initiatives and projects together. That's really exciting. Jim, do you have something to share on this topic?
I mean, it's harder to narrow the list down than the vast majority of puzzlers just being wonderful humans and great friends that I've discovered over time. I will say that I will be wonderfully grateful for all of the time that Sammy Brownlow has given me as a friend and as a human. Sammy's just a fantastic person that has helped me out with a lot of things that go on behind the scenes and in my life and with Mari's life going on. Sammy's just really been there in a lot of great ways that are kind of hard to uh, that are really hard to just get the right words for. And as someone who is rarely at a loss for words, that should mean a lot to everybody. And I'll also say that I am wildly grateful for my friendship with Michelle, because you have really helped open up a lot of avenues for me to be not just a part of the puzzling community, but to like share my passion and the things that I enjoy about it. And it's also just really, really fun to get to like chat with you and hang out and, do so much with you. And I just had a blast with you at Worlds, and I'm excited I'll get to see you again relatively soon here
Tomorrow.
in a few days. Yeah.
Tomorrow.
I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled for that. There's so many people internationally that I've met that I just adore, and it's kind of overwhelming to think about when you really start trying to be specific, just how many people have walked into your life because of tiny little bits of cardboard.
That's a nice way to put it. Yes, and exactly, it's cardboard, but it's more than that, because it's people and friendships. And I think there's some really, I don't think we've had so many people willing to be interviewed or to share their stories of their puzzle friendships. That's really nice. So Catherine and Jim will be sharing that as we go along. And for me, of course, I've also made some really wonderful friends, and I've puzzled with you, Catherine, on the team, which has been amazing, and really looking forward to spending time with Jim and Mari in Atlanta and meeting a lot of people. But a special friend is Fruji, because not only did she volunteered to co-host and we got to become friends through that, but also we hung out in Madrid. She stayed at my hotel and we did speed puzzling after breakfast and navigated the streets of Madrid, getting to the train station. We became a team in the following year, and just so many fun and interesting things that we have going on. So it's amazing. It's 500 pieces of cardboard, but it's led to lots of amazing friendships. So it looks like we are ready to start. I just want to mention that there were 2 different wrapping papers that were used. So don't freak out if you have something different to what you see on the screen. It's important that you have puzzle 132. And I see lots of comments coming through. I'll read those in a moment. Just want to make sure that we are ready to go. So we have only 68 people registered on the timer website. We sold close to 80 of these puzzles, so I don't know what's going on. If you have not registered yet on the timer website, do that now. And otherwise, please go ahead and unwrap the puzzle.
This is the exciting moment. It's always so fun to have an unreleased puzzle in the competitions. And the first time you see it is always like, what? This is the puzzle.
Oh, yeah. What fresh madness are you going to be dealing with for the next couple dozen minutes of your life, right?
Yeah, so this one is not from an EJJ participant, but his a friend of an EJJ participant. So actually fits quite well with the theme for tonight. Somebody said, hey, I've seen you should send your artwork to Speedpuzzle. So make sure you've got the plastic wrap off as well. And then we'll be ready to go shortly.
Ooh, that looks really cool. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm already gushing over the image.
I thought you might like that one as well when I unpacked it. I was like, I'm glad I'm doing the stream with Jim because he'll get a kick out of it, I think.
Sorry, I know I'm like whispering to myself, but it's fun to see a really cool image like that.
Yeah, it's quite detailed, so I will put a big picture up on the screen for everyone to see. Okay, everything is unwrapped. Okay, let's do a countdown in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Puzzle! Good luck, everyone!
And they're off. See those pieces getting dumped right away, and the flip beginning. I'm sure a lot of folks are going to pull the edge right away on this image early on. But Michelle, is there a way we can learn a little bit about this?
Yeah, so I have all the information here that we need.
Lovely.
So Michelle has put a picture up on the screen right now, so we can have a look.
So cool.
It is kind of like a mechanical ladybug, like robot ladybug that has what would you call those, like gnomes, building like all kinds of things that are coming out
Yes.
on top of it. So there's a little control panel in the front right. There's another gnome that's kind of brooming. Then on the second floor, there's like a little kitchen with a fridge and a TV on the right side. And then on the top left is like a little sleeping nook. And then all the way at the top, we see a little wash line and some birds. And all kinds of little fun little details. Lots of birds actually on this picture that we can discover like as we're flipping the pieces.
So cool. It's like a bug version of Howl's Moving Castle. This is really, really lovely.
Yes, and I love that you said that because I'm gonna quickly read you the little description of the artist that he wrote on the back of it. So he says, I'm a Romanian artist who has been working for 9 years with traditional mediums, tending each drawing the way one tends a garden, slowly, with patience, letting every stroke find its place. I draw robots with hearts to show that even the mechanical can carry feelings. My inspiration drifts between Ghibli, old tales, and fleeting emotions. On yellow craft pages, my robots come to life, weaving a world rich with detail and complexity, yet always rooted in emotion.
Oh.
So you were spot on with the Howl's Moving Castle vibe.
It definitely comes across, and I love it whenever we have a really unique kind of image like this for a competition. I know it might not be everybody's particular flavor of image that they love, but I think that it's so unique and so captivating and interesting that it's going to be fun to get through, even if it's a little tricky.
Yeah, so this is indeed like a somewhat trickier puzzle, but I have no doubt that all of these what are they called? Like the 50, under 50 plus, no.
Just the sub 50 group, yeah.
Yeah, that all of these superstars of speed puzzling will still make quick work of it in one way or another. Okay, shall we have a look at who we have with us tonight? So on the screen, we have Aidan from Switzerland, Amber from New Zealand, Anna from Slovenia, Anne from the Netherlands, Anne Roos from the Netherlands, and Arkadiusz from Poland. Sorry.
And you'd see a lot of these puzzlers, they've all gotten so fast so quickly. You can see that they're getting real close to finishing up their flip as we cross about the 3-minute and 30-second line. I know we have some superstars that are able to get their flip down under 3 minutes, but you can make up that time with accuracy later on down the road. And there's a little bit of sorting going on, I think. Mostly edge pulls early on, which is going to be a fun way to try to get this outline. I think a lot of people are going to pull that red of the ladybug shell and try to get that worked out initially. But where to start and where to end on in this is going to be really tricky. That chunk of blue that's on the side is going to be a little difficult to fill in unless you have some of those islands already in place, giving you some shape work to play with.
Yeah, I think also this puzzle, apart from maybe the ladybug and this like greenish cabin thing that's on the top left, a lot of the rest is going to be pick and place for the middle part because of the details. On the pieces, you can see the details quite well. So if you're good at pick and placing, this will be like a good puzzle for you. And then, you know, obviously everything on the corner, on the corners, on the sides, like you said, will be having to be done with shape work. Also joining us is Arya from Indonesia, Aurore from France, Bibi from Denmark, Carlos from Spain, Caroline from Germany, and Karsten from Germany.
Yeah, you can see Carlos in the lower left hand there doing a pretty hefty sort early on before really diving into the assembly. You can see that they've already pulled the red of that ladybug, similar to Carolyn in the lower middle there, getting a lot of that red already pulled out. I almost wonder if there's a way to distinguish some of those reds a little bit tighter rather than it being all the reds all at once. There's some that's a little bit dark and some that's a little light based on where the sun's coming from, I think. So that might be a way to use some of the subgroups in the image to really get rolling on either the assembly or a little bit of the sort early on.
Yes. Oh, and I forgot to mention before the artist's name. I was reading the whole story, but I didn't mention who it was. So the artist's name is Alexander Glonin, and he will also be joining us later for an interview, which I'm very excited about.
I am so excited to pick their brain because the mechanics of how to make a mecha ladybug house that's moving like that with just so many little details is really, really fascinating. And I think you're absolutely right, Catherine, that this particular kind of puzzle lends itself to so many different techniques and styles and approaches that we're going to see that I think every puzzler is going to have chunks of this which flows really well for them and chunks that's going to be a little more difficult for them as well.
Yes. And soon we're going to have switched up screens again. And if I am correct, then we will have we will have Christina from Spain. Yes, Diana from the Russian Federation, Eileen from Belgium, Eric from the Netherlands, Franziska from Germany, and Freya from Sweden. My plan is to read everyone's answers out later as we, progress further into the stream, just because I want to make sure we get through all of the introductions before someone finishes again, like very fast. Yeah, we'll have to see how it goes with this particular puzzle.
You can see several borders starting to take shape here. I think Diana and Franziska both have about half of their border complete and lined up, which is really, really well done. This is definitely a border that's a little tricky because of the splits on the clouds and with the blues. So I almost wonder how many of these puzzlers might make an initial stab at the border and then leave it to finish up a little bit later, or after they get some more context, might jump back to it, rather than trying to just force it to get done early on. We're coming up at about the 8-minute and 12-second line here, and these puzzlers are off to a pretty good clip.
Yeah, and it's correct. What works for the puzzlers here is the cut of the Speedpuzzle.eu puzzles. They do make it, even though it's like all one color, it does make it relatively easy because you're not going to have any false fits with this piece cut. Or like if you have one, maybe one, I didn't have one. So that made it a little bit easier. Also with us tonight, we have Graham from the United Kingdom, Hannah from Finland, Henrik from Germany, Hrafna from Iceland. Please correct me later.
Yeah.
To say your name. Inge from the Netherlands, Irina from Canada, and Jagoda from Poland.
And it's kind of interesting. We're seeing several of the puzzlers pull out the that faded green that's in the bottom, that kind of bushy grass looking zone near the bottom. I'm wondering if any of them are going to start pulling that really bright green, that's the a sort of porthole bedroom in the towards the upper left. Because early on, if you can get some of the really unique colors or unique textures out, then it makes it a little easier to see what's left. But everybody's off to an interesting start here. I want to point out, Graham. I can't tell if Graham's doing his puzzle in the portrait mode. Yes, doing it in portrait mode. A lot of these puzzlers are doing it in the standard setup. But sometimes, whenever, even if you have a vertical puzzle, you can rotate it sideways to get yourself used to how the border's going. But we haven't quite seen that yet.
Yeah, I'm curious to see also how people are going to tackle this after the red and the green areas are completed, because then it's kind of like a free for all of where, what draws your eye first. There are some different textures in it. There's some ladders and some like a ladder, like a rope ladder, and some like straight lines that go kind of across the image, which is something that helped me when I was doing the puzzle, like looking for lines. So I'm curious to see if people are gonna use a similar strategy to myself. Also joining us tonight, we have Jana from Slovakia, Janine from Germany, Jasmine from the United States, Yata from Finland, Jen from the United States, and Jörn from Germany.
You can see Desmond Lambert in the upper right, gearing up for U.S. Nationals here in a few days, has almost that entire ladybug built out and has started in on those green bushes in the lower right and lower left-hand corners. And I can't quite make out what the next target is, but she is making great moves right here. Yada in the lower left has almost that full border done on a 500 piece. That's an 86 pieces, or about 17% of the puzzle worked out already. Again, there's that image of the puzzle in the middle here. Absolutely, I cannot say enough wonderful things about this image. I am extremely jealous of everybody that gets to work on it right now. Catherine, I think you're right that there's just enough large chunks of that busy center that you can use as anchor points to work your way around it. Like, are you going to find where that railing is and kind of work your way across and build up, or use some of the background that's within that busyness as a color distinction that you can make progress on?
Yeah, and you can really practice your shifting of focus with this puzzle, where if you don't see immediately on the puzzle what you want to see, try to like shift your focus to what else can we see on this puzzle piece and how could it connect to the wider picture, because you do have these really strong lines that I feel like a lot of speed puzzlers tend to overlook, because in a lot of other puzzles they are not really useful to work of that, and it's more useful to work of colors and textures. Whereas with a puzzle like this, maybe you want to focus on lines. Okay. Oh, and we have new people on the screen. We have Kerstin from Germany, Kinga from Poland, Christian from Poland, Laura from Hungary, Linda from Norway, and so Linda B from Norway and Linda W from the Netherlands.
And you can see Kirsten in the upper left there has also gone for that ladybug, the grass, and I think that porthole, that living room area in the upper left, it's all a little bit cramped in on itself right now, but she's going to be able to make a few adjustments and get some more space there. Both Kinga and Christian are just about done with their border. I think Christian has the full border and that and the living room porthole worked out, and it looks like he's trying to get some of that vanilla sand or ground texture worked out. One of the things that's really cool about Christian is how he gets so many pieces spread out, and then he brings them down into the area that he's building very rapidly. Sometimes that can lead to a little bit of a blocked box if he doesn't finish it up soon. But it can also be a case that he can see so much of it that he's able to untangle where each thing is going to go very rapidly. So it's a big risk, big reward. But Christian's one of the best puzzlers in the world, so it tends to work out for him pretty well on that.
Yeah, and I saw he also had pulled all the red pieces already to the side, like ready to go. So when he's done with this section, he can move on to the next. Okie dokie. We also have with us Lisa from Denmark, Lynn from Belgium, Maartje from the Netherlands, Madara from Latvia, Magdalene from Austria, and Maya from Finland. I'm also recognizing a lot of names of the people that were at the Belgian Championships last weekend. So there's quite a few. And then also a few of the Germans that are prepping for the German Championship coming up next weekend. So it's exciting times for speed puzzling at the moment.
Which, by the way, for folks listening, if you didn't watch the Belgian Championships, go back and watch that. Catherine Frugy did a wonderful job there. There were several other commentators that were amazing. Please go check it out. But we can see here that Lisa in the upper left has almost that full border done. Marcia in the upper right-hand side is starting to make connections between the islands that she's made with the ladybug, the bottom ground area, and that porthole up top. You can see that she's also done a really hefty sort of, I think, what looks like either the cloud or the light blue and ground versus a lot of those other pieces over on the right-hand side. That little bit of separation. Magdalene in the lower middle, I think, is about even with Marcia in overall piece count right now, which is really, really cool to see these slightly different tactics and yet success for both of these puzzlers in different ways, using these different techniques about how are you going to approach this. This is one of the reasons I really love this image. It's just busy enough that you can have a couple of different anchors that you want to attack. We've seen several people in the chat mentioning that they found that using the background is a little bit easier. I agree. If you have a really busy puzzle, sometimes we call it switching lenses. I know, Catherine, you were saying changing your focus. Mari and I often call it switching lenses, where it's like, hey, let's just take a little eyeglass and put it over your eye and say, I am focusing on blue now. I am now focusing on background. I'm now focusing. Whenever you switch those lenses, it makes it a little easier to make that progress.
Yeah, I love how you still understood me though before when I was talking. Let's see, who else do we have? We have a few more Mayas. So we have Maya J from Slovenia, Maya P from Slovenia. And then we have Malina from Germany, Maria Magdalena from Germany, Michelle from France, and who is this? Someone who's not on my list. Raphael, who I don't know where you're from. Maybe you're on the list, but not in the wrong spot. Sorry for that.
Yeah, here we can see a couple of puzzlers using that island technique, getting that green porthole, the ladybug built out, and they're kind of locked in where they're about to go and branching out a little bit. You can see Maya in the upper left and Melina in the upper right doing that kind of style. I think Maria in the lower left started with that island and then went into ladybug mode. You can see that the ladybug they're building on their own puzzle tray, so that way they can build it and then drop it off where it's going to live without having to block the box. It's a fun technique to use, but you can see that they've already made almost what is it? That's 1, 2, maybe 3 lines worth of ground all the way across their puzzle that's built in. So they have lots of space that they could put that into once they're ready. Once they're ready to go. Mikhail and Raphael doing a great job here. We've had a lot of people in the comments mention that this is a little bit of a dark image, and if you have a lot of glare on your pieces, or even if you're in a slightly darker room, it can be a little tricky to see what's going where. But they're doing a great job making headway on this. As we come up on about the 19 minutes and 13 seconds here.
Yes, amazing. And in the meantime, I just quickly had a look at where Christian was at, just to keep an eye on the time, because we are approaching the 20-minute mark. So, which, we've had some finishers like in the 20, like between 20 and 25 or 20 and 30. So I'm just making sure that we're not going to run into that right now, and can just continue with our next participants. So we have Mineke from the Netherlands, Nadia from Indonesia, Natalia from Poland, Olivia from Poland, Patrick from Switzerland, and Rachel from the United Kingdom.
You may recognize Minika as the voice behind one of the songs that's used for the EJJs and in other places. Really, really great community member and also a great puzzler. You can see that Minika has that ground almost fully built in at this point. Natalia in the upper right doing a great job. Nadia in the upper middle there, doing a really cool thing of having a few islands worked out and then separated those blues. I wonder if those blues are separated by a little bit of which ones are the darkest, which ones have a little bit more brightness to them. That would be a really, really great way to make progress as they continue on through here. Olivia in the lower left has almost that total bottom complete, couple islands worked out, and I think those blues are also starting to make their separation as well, drifting into a little bit of a sort rather than being really explicit about it. We can see that Patrick is finishing up that ladybug. I think some of the feet connecting the ladybug to the ground are missing just yet, but that's okay. And I think they're starting to finish up the groundwork there. And Rachel Chambers in the lower right-hand side, representing with a Peace Talk shirt, I'll point out, is finishing up that ladybug, getting the bottom floor worked out, and has a whole lot of the right-hand side cloud already built in. That's a really, really great tool, and will give them something to anchor in towards as they go towards the middle part of this puzzle that has a lot of busy tidbits to try to iron out.
Yeah, and Rachel also has a huge fan club in the comments. Everyone's saying, go Rachel, we believe in you. So just know that everyone's cheering for you, Rachel, even though there's no orange in this, or very little orange in this one. Oh, and now
aren't you glad we picked a puzzle that looked like this, that so many people can do well on?
But I love how organized her table looks. She has like a clean slate at the top, and then all of her pieces on one side, and she's just kind of building from there. I see Raphael now on my list. So Raphael was from France, who we saw before on the screen. Then we have Robert from Sweden, Rosaline from Belgium, who was late and has only started a couple of minutes ago. So what we see her doing now is just the start of the process. Then we have Sanna from Finland, Stefan from Germany, Stephanie from Germany, and Stein from Belgium.
I think Rosaline just wanted to give everybody else a head start, so that way they wouldn't feel bad after she laps them. I have full confidence Rosaline is going to be able to crush this one. You can see that the flip's going really well. She already has a lot of edges pulled. If we look at the rest of the field here, Robert's doing a great job getting that lower right-hand side built in, that right edge coming in strong. We can see that Stefan in the lower left has the full ladybug worked out, has that edge built in. I think the green porthole is also coming through. A little bit of that island work, just trying to get a couple of pieces here and there. It's looking a little scattered in the pile, but there's so much space that they're still going to be able to see what they're working with. And I think they separated a lot of those blues off to the side. Stephanie's doing an excellent job. I love it whenever puzzlers use both hands to go through the pile to make a pull. And you saw her do that just a few seconds ago, where she used both hands to grab pieces at the same time. Not just the case of using the right hand to pick up a piece, put it into the left like a plate, and then drop everything off. You're more efficient using both hands to make that kind of move. And it's really, really great to see. And Stein doing a great job. Catherine, you were saying earlier how clean and tidy Rachel's table looked.
Hmm.
Stein is a great example of a similar tight control there, where
Yeah.
it is really well organized, and anything that's in the field is in the field for a reason.
Yeah, and you can see he also has like little piles already pulled and like ready to go for when he's done with this section, and he can move on immediately to another section. So yeah, that's like a smart forethought pulling of things and organization. So yeah, it's really nice. And again, there were so many people just on this screen that were also at the Belgian Nationals. Roselyn did really well. And Stein, their team also did really good. I think they were, I don't want to say something wrong. I don't remember, but definitely top 10. Okay. Also now we have Sonia from Hungary, Tammy from the United States, Tobias from Sweden, Tuli from Finland, Valentina from Belgium, and Vanda from Hungary.
And this is what we were talking about earlier about this particular image lends itself to so many different techniques and styles. Tobias is a great pick and place puzzler, and the way that he's gone about this, it almost looks pixelated because of the individual pieces that have been placed inside of it. It looks like just each little dot has been placed and it's a little shimmery rather than one whole complete section done all at once. It's so fascinating to watch, but he's doing this from the inside out. He's starting from certain background colors, building it in, and then going and then working out from there.
Yeah, it's pretty much the opposite as how everyone else has been tackling the puzzle so far. I mean, everyone else has been going for like bigger sections, then like borders, maybe backgrounds, this lighter background, probably before the dark blue background, and Tobias has just gone for like the hard part first.
Which is really fun. We would see Tammy in the upper middle there doing an excellent job. She has almost the bottom third of this puzzle wrapped up. You can see that the edge is coming together really, really well. Tuli doing a great job. You can see that that ladybug has a lot more purple in it than just straight red, and I think that distinguishes some of the shaded part of the ladybug versus the part that's in the direct sunlight.
Yeah, it's really cool to see kind of, especially with these people that we see on screen now, like the different approaches and like how difficult it is to tell who is faster or like further along in the puzzle, because it's just such different like ways of going about this puzzle.
Indeed, we're coming up. We're coming up on about 27 minutes and 30 seconds here, so I don't think we're going to have any sub 30-minute times time records on this particular puzzle. I know some folks are flying pretty quickly, but I don't think we're going to see anything on that scale just yet.
No, I think you're right. I'm keeping a look on Christian on my screen, and he still has a little bit longer than I think 2 minutes to go. So pretty sure we're not going to crack that barrier quite yet. And then for our three final people, we have Vanessa from Germany, Wies from the Netherlands, and Victor from Poland.
You can see that Weiss has done a solid job getting that whole bottom finished up, and is now trying to do these little bits of cleanup in between the area from the ladybug to connect it to this larger apparatus that's attached to the back. You can see that they're getting some of those greens ironed out. I think that those clouds have been separated from the rest of what's there, which is going really, really well. You can see Victor in the lower right-hand side has gotten the lower third of his puzzle totally worked out. That cloud over on the right-hand side also gone really well. Victor has gotten so much better with awkward gradients and dealing with those sort of curvy chunks that don't necessarily line up really well. But he is just an amazing puzzler to watch. You can see that he's trying to line up those railings and make a foothold that he can make additional progress in from the middle. But a lot of those blues have also been separated. I wonder if there's a darker shade of that that's sticking out to these puzzlers that I didn't necessarily see on the image from a first look. But this is really exciting to see everybody getting on as we come up on 29 minutes and about 30 seconds.
Yes, and I thought maybe it's a good time to mention a few of the answers to our questions about friendship. So Graham said that who he really wants to shout out are the non-puzzling partners, because some of his favorite people he's met in the community aren't there for the cardboard, but for their loved ones, and that's the kind of people he wants to be friends with. And I love that answer because, it's first of all, it's always nice if your loved ones or your friends come and support you at a puzzle event, even though they don't know anything about puzzles and they never done puzzles and they don't like puzzles. And it's even nicer if they also get involved in the community and make friends with your puzzle friends. So yeah, I really like that answer. Then Mineke wrote that her and Daniela met online when she started the speed puzzling group on Facebook, and now they have started together the speed puzzling the Netherlands. So the Dutch association basically was a direct result of that friendship, and she has met so many people that she can now call friends through puzzling, and this community is just awesome. And then Tammy from the United States said, I have formed puzzle friendships all over the world, and they have changed my life. I met puzzlers both in person and online, and right from the start, we know that we are bonded by our shared love of puzzles. No puzzler is a stranger to me. It is normally very difficult to find friends as adults, even more so when you're an introvert. Puzzle friendships has been an exception to that. And yeah, I totally agree. It's not so easy to make friends as an adult, right, Jim?
Don't I know it? It's it's a rough world out there, and the fact that so many people have found a way to come together and learn from each other and just make buddies on a thing that is usually considered very solitary is really, really wonderful. And I think it's a great way for a lot of the introverts to come together and fight their inherent urge to be scared of other humans. Well, I shouldn't say scared of other humans, but be less charged up around other humans and find a way to enjoy the social aspect of it outside of just being on your own every step of the way. It's really, really cool to see all this coming together. And these puzzlers have made some excellent progress here as we're coming in on the 32-minute and 30-second line. Folks are flying right now. I think Christian is at the point where he's just filling in a lot of that blue background. It might be about 50, maybe 70 pieces or so of that blue that he's got to wrap up. And I think he might be in the lead at this stage. But Marcia's looking really strong here and has a lot of the inside of that puzzle worked out. It's going to be a game of if she can catch up to the edge at this point before Christian wraps up his shape work.
Yeah, I was thinking that maybe the Dutch puzzlers would do a little bit better on this puzzle because they are used to doing the Jan van Hasteren puzzles that are very busy as well. So that this middle section might be easier for someone who's just, more used to that style. But yeah, looking at Christian's puzzle, he's at a point where pretty much every puzzle he picks up in his hand will have to go somewhere because there's only so many places where they can go, and there's this little corner on the top right that is where he still has to fill in more, but all the other pieces he should be easily be able to recognize the shapes and just like plop them in. And we can see that he's trying to place the puzzles, and then when they don't fit, he like kind of throws it into the other hand and then puts it like at the bottom of the pile. And then the next pieces he takes again from the top, which I think is a smart strategy to not like keep trying the same puzzle piece over and over again, but only getting to it so that
it kind of depends on what's going on, but we also know that Christian does a lot of landscape puzzles, and so now that he just has this blue background to finish up, he's closing in on the rest of it. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's about 10 pieces away here. Is he going to be able to keep this down under the 35-minute line? I'm not sure. It's going to cut it really close. We're at 34, 33. He gets those last couple of in. He's using both hands so rapidly, being really efficient, even though it's a little bit of a brute force. He's just trying it so quickly. He's not spending a ton of time on being wrong. He hits the buzzer. There it is. Congratulations, Christian. Very, very well done.
Yeah, and right on his heels, we have Jagoda, also from Poland, who lost connection, and now someone is filming her. So we have an actual person actually filming her, which is like really cool to see.
Oh wow! I didn't. Did I? Oh, I did lose Jagoda. Okay, that's what I was. Jagoda's coming in on those last 5 pieces as well, trying to get them in really, really rapidly. Oh, there's an upper right-hand corner that she needs to fill in. So there's more pieces in her hand than what it looks like on the table. Now she has to bounce back and forth between the two ends in order to wrap this up. And this is where being able to use both hands in order to get just a couple more pieces in just a little more quickly goes a long way. Every time you have to open and close your hand, you hide information from yourself, and that can sometimes be a little difficult. But Jagoda is one of the top puzzlers in the world, and so she is flying through the rest of this. It is not easy to get that many flat pieces in. Now there's no ambiguity. Anything she picks up, there is a spot for it. It has to go in one of those spots. She's closing this out. Only a couple remain. Can she hit the button? There's the timer. Congratulations, Jagoda.
Hey, congrats.
Very, very well done. And understandably tired from a Herculean effort to get through that. Well done, Jagoda.
Yeah, well done to both of our first-time finishers. I glanced so quickly over Christian because I was so excited. I thought Jagoda was also just about to finish, but I didn't see that she still had the few pieces in the upper right corner. So congratulations, Christian. 10 seconds under 35 minutes, and then Jagoda just like 2 seconds under 36 minutes. So they're about 1 minute apart.
That's so impressive. We say it all the time. Being able to get a puzzle done in under an hour and a half is really, really good. Being able to get it done in an hour is fantastic. Being able to get it done under 40 minutes is bananas. Being able to get it down under the 36, 35-minute line is insane. So these folks are amazing puzzlers, and we can see that that we're really cruising here. I know that as we're coming up on about the 37-minute and 30-second line, a lot of these puzzlers are starting to feel a little bit of fatigue. They've been working at this for a while. A lot of that sky is pretty dark. It's split. It's all over the place. There's a lot of busy that's going on. There's a lot of flat color that's happening as well. You could kind of lose sense of where you are in the puzzle as you're working it, but the top 10 is still there for the taking. People just need to lock in, push a little bit, try switching the lenses. Is there a sort that you need to do? Is there a way that you can approach this to get just a little bit more speed? And we can see that Marcia is marching in towards the end of the puzzle. I think she's finishing up the edges, and then she's going to be able to knock out the rest of that blue center.
Yeah, and she really built this puzzle from the inside out. So she was building all the busy stuff first, and she was kind of flowering, like sunbursting out from the middle to the edges, and has just recently put in the edges, and now she just has to fill them in. So it looks like this third place might be Marcia's for the taking, because Victor is really close as well, but he doesn't have the edge in yet. So I feel like the edge gives Marcia the edge.
Well, I think just piece count wise overall, March is about 30 pieces ahead of Victor at this point.
Mhm.
Victor's hands are moving so quickly. I think he's trying to go entirely inside out. He's not trying to do any edge work at all. He's just going, I'm going to finish up this middle bit as much as humanly possible and then move on to the edge. Marcha bouncing back and forth. You can see she's using her right hand kind of like a extra table, kind of like an extra puzzle board, loading it up, dropping a piece on, kicking it off over into the puzzle. You can see she's now using just her left hand in order to get these pieces in, and she's almost at the point of zero ambiguity. At least on the left-hand side, each of the holes remaining is just a singular piece, so she can use the shape of the piece itself to try to iron out that last little bit. That gap on the upper right, she might zero in on. Yeah, there it is. Now there's no ambiguity, and she can wrap this up as
Yeah, 3 more pieces. Let's
locks up
go.
the next line. There it is, the last couple. Is she going to be able to keep it
Boom.
under the 40-minute line? Just barely, I think.
Yeah, she is at 39 minutes and 37 seconds. Congratulations, Marce.
Very, very well done.
Marce, if you want to stay for an interview, you can stay in the meeting, but for later, yeah? Also, I know Christian usually doesn't want to stay, but I don't know if you're still here, but you can. And of course, Jagoda, if you want to stay for the interview as well, just stay.
We would love to say hi to you for a little bit. This is really, really fun. I know a lot of folks in the chat. Several of them had done this as a flex earlier, either today or yesterday, and gave this a good go. So it's exciting for them to see how some of these super fast sub 50-minute puzzlers work this out. You can see Victor now moving on entirely from working on the middles into working towards the edges, and he's going to be able to use his knowledge of how those prongs stick in and out to really make quick work of that. You can see Rachel Chambers also making great progress on here. Inga doing a great job. Tobias, he has that entire middle worked out, and now he needs to get through to those clouds and to the blue edges as well. Similar tactic to Victor here at the end stages.
Yeah, and if you're working like this off an edge, you have the advantage that not only will you see where the pieces connect on the left and on the right side, but also where they connect. So you have 3 areas of connection basically instead of 2, which can make it easier for puzzles. And we've seen this tactic used a lot in the round puzzles, the Ravensburger round puzzles. People tend to do that if the border is like a uniform color.
Yeah, and you see Victor just rotated the puzzle from being in that portrait setup over into landscape. I love that adjustment because sometimes whenever it's just in a format you're more comfortable with or you're more used to, you can physically move a little faster around it to get those last ones in. He's down to about the last 5 pieces or so. He's going to be able to sink them in really rapidly. Is he going to be able to keep this under the 42-minute line?
Yes.
I think he's just over it. But congratulations, Victor. Very, very well done.
Congrats. 42 minutes and 9 seconds.
Well done. This is some fantastic puzzling. This is not an easy image to do, as several people have mentioned in the comments. Some of the colors are a little dark, and they kind of overlap with each other a little bit, so it can be a little tricky in certain spots. But everybody's doing a great job here as we fly on.
Yeah, and I think we have maybe 1 or 2 minutes before the next person finishes. So I'm just going to have a quick read of another story that we got written in about puzzle friendships. I think we have some time. Okay, so Tuli writes in that she met one of her best puzzle friends kind of randomly at the World Jigsaw Puzzle Championship when she signed up for pairs, and she didn't have anyone else to do pairs with. So she just signed up for pairs on a whim, and then they became friends with Marion, and then they ended up staying in the same hotel room, and they ended up spending the rest of the week together, and they're still friends today. And they have puzzled again together at the European Jigsaw Puzzle Championship and also at the World Championship last year. So yeah, that's just a nice example of how puzzling can really cross these border barriers that maybe you'd have in your normal everyday life.
That's just lovely.
Yeah, Tobias has really caught up. Like, I looked away from his screen for like 5 seconds, and then I look back, and suddenly like everything is there except for the border almost.
Yep. That was your mistake. You looked away for a moment.
Yeah.
And that's how Tobias operates. It looks like it's real scattered and open, and then all of a sudden he's able to lock in on key structures and just zippers through really, really quickly on it. But yeah, he's down to mostly a lot of the edge, and then that cloud over on the right hand side. Anytime there's a lot of flat color, or whenever there's an area that has multiple oscillations of a wave throughout it, that can sometimes throw pick and place puzzlers a little for a loop. But you can see that he's doing a really good job getting through there. And Rachel Chambers is coming in on the close, as well as Irina. You can see Irina is only on the edge of the blue here. I think she's maybe about 15 pieces away, probably less. She's taking one piece at a time and moving around the entire border until it goes in. When you're not sure, and sometimes you can't really see what color's what, you do what you got to do and you move quickly. And you can see that she's rapidly closing this out. I think Rachel has about 7 pieces in that upper right-hand corner. It's going to become a game of who has faster physicality in order to close this out. It's going to be Irina or Rachel closing in the next spot. I think Rachel has slightly better piece count, and because it's all localized to one spot, she doesn't have to move quite as far. Irina has maybe 3 pieces remaining. This is going to be really tight. Rachel hits the button just ahead of Irina. They were within a second of each other.
Wow!
Congratulations to both. That was an amazing finish. I want to pull up the final results. That was
I mean,
finish there.
They finished in the same, or they pressed the button at the same second, but Irina was just 2 hundredths slower than Rachel. So Rachel is just ahead by like a tiniest fraction of a second.
That was absolutely amazing. Congratulations to both puzzlers. And if that's not an indication of where every second counts, where every little movement can add up, this is the kind of scale that we're seeing more and more often in speed puzzling, where we're getting these finishes that are within a second, 5 seconds of each other. So those little things all add up, and it's so cool. And that can even come down to just having an unlucky flip. You know, 1 extra piece face down whenever you're starting out, that can be enough to decide the ending there. So really, really well done. Whenever you're that close, it's basically the same position. That in my eyes, it's the exact same time.
Yeah, I'm always saying if it's like that close, it came down to a sneeze. Like one of them had to sneeze, and that's why they're like a little bit slower than the other person.
Oh wow. We can see that Hannah L, and Inga are also coming out on the close. Inga has already finished up the blue and is now doing some fill-in of the middle. And I think Hannah has a lot more of that blue that's going to be spaced out. I think that's going to be more difficult for her to try to wrap up compared to Inga's middle chunks here, because there's more information in that middle that she can use those tidbits to work on. And you can see there's a little bit of an acceleration happening for Inga right now.
Yeah, then in the bottom right, we also have Anne, who is also making very, very quick work of this puzzle and only has to fill in all the blues. Or not even all the blues, just a few of the blues, actually.
And look, Anne Stoll's doing a great job as well. Anne is coming into the finish. I think Anne has maybe about 17 pieces that are split throughout the entire area, but she's moving very quickly, has them loaded up. Is she going to be able to slide in ahead of Hannah? I think Inga has the next slot locked in pretty quickly, but this is going to be a battle between Anne and Hannah for who wants the slot just after that. This is really, really exciting puzzling, and we're coming up on what's the time marker here? Sorry, Inga finishes. Congratulations, Inga.
Woo. Yeah, we're just at 48 minutes and 20 seconds.
Oh wow.
Congratulations, Inge. Congratulations, Hannah. And
Hannah finishes.
congratulations, Anne. Everyone finished like within just a few seconds of each other. Congrats.
So well done. Congratulations to everybody so far. This is a really cool puzzle to work on. It's also not an easy puzzle to work on, and everybody's just pushing through a lot of that flat color section that's difficult very well. You can see Yada and Tobias both trying to finish up those blues. Yada's are kind of spread throughout the middle. Tobias is mostly on the edge border at this point. Magdalene also coming in on the blue section. And I think Karsten in the lower left-hand side has some of the edge, but not all of it worked out at this point.
Yeah, I'm curious to see who will snag this last spot here in the top 10 of tonight of this super fast puzzle round with this unreleased puzzle. It's always so cool to see people tackling unreleased puzzles, because this is the only way that you can really measure like how good are you at a specific type of puzzle, is if it's unreleased, if nobody has seen it before, and it's really leveling the playing field for everyone in this competition.
And there's Tobias. Congratulations.
Yay! Number 10, Tobias, with 49. 44.
Amazing job. Really well done. There's so many puzzlers that are going to be able to finish under the hour line here. We know that this is the sub 50 club, but for the folks that are in the sub 50 that go over 50 minutes, that doesn't mean that they're suddenly not amazing puzzlers. It just tells you how difficult this particular puzzle is for everybody.
Yeah, as someone who is in the 50 plus club herself, I can tell you that, I was first speeding this puzzle, and then at some point I just decided I'm just going to finish it casually, because I just after the Belgian Nationals this weekend, and like the horror that was the puzzle for the individual final, I just couldn't do it anymore.
And there Yada finishes. Congratulations.
Yeah, and then
thumbs up. Agreed wholeheartedly.
soon we have Magdalene, who is on her way to finishing, and so is it Diana and Karsten? Yeah, there's a lot of people that are really closing in now at this moment. So I'm expecting like a kind of a, rolling in of just finisher after finisher very soon.
Yeah.
Yes, and Karsten has finished. 51 minutes and 27 seconds. All right, so what do you think? Should we see if we have anyone from our winners still left in the chat?
Yeah, let's see if I think let's see if I think Christian already headed off.
Marce is still here. Marce, do you want to talk to us? You can turn on your camera if you want.
Hi.
Hey. How are you doing? How was the puzzle?
Good. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a really nice image. It was a bit dark. If it was a bit more colorful, it would have been a bit easier, I think. But it was a good challenge in that way.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your strategy going into this puzzle, because I think you had like a slightly different strategy than some of the other puzzlers.
Yeah, so I did a lot of sorting while flipping. So my flip was relatively slow, I think. So I sorted the brown ground, the greens, the greenhouse, the ladybug, and the clouds. So I had 5 piles, which I'm never really sure if that's smart or not. But when I was done with that, I could very quickly make a lot of progress. So I think in the end it worked out. But I don't know if I could have been faster. And then with all those piles, I did the ground and the bottom, so the ground and the trees. and then the ladybug, the greenhouse, and then I did the big white kind of cloud in the back. And after that, I just started filling in all the things in the house, getting to know what was actually on the puzzle.
Yeah. And there's so much going on the puzzle. Do you have a favorite detail?
Oh.
Or favorite part?
I like all the little birds. I think they're very cute. It's like a little one above the fridge and one at the telescope. So I really like that detail.
Yeah, I was thinking about what was my favorite detail, and I think for me it's like the little like underwear that's hanging on the washing line.
Yeah, fair. That's also very cute.
Yeah, like little funny stuff. Is this a style of puzzle that you enjoy doing?
Yes, I think so. I usually say that my style is like a kind of a cartoon thing with black lines, so that it's kind of everything's lined a bit. And this was exactly that. So in that sense, it really fit. Of course, the mechanics was a bit hard because they're not so recognizable in a sense. I think because at some point you had kind of these dark brown, orangey colors left, and they could basically go anywhere. It was kind of hard to distinguish. But other than that, I think yes, this is definitely a puzzle that I could be good at.
Yeah, nice. When I opened it, I thought that basically before I started building it, I thought that the background, especially the bottom background, would be much harder than it was, and then it was easier. Is it for you also like that sometimes, that you get like proven wrong by the time that you're doing the puzzle?
Yeah, so I often get also proved right that I think something is difficult, and it is difficult. I think here with the sky, or the whole color block thing, I always think that's difficult for me, and it was indeed difficult. But yeah, I think sometimes I have that I think it's even maybe too busy and that it's going to be hard, but then I'm still able to somehow grasp what's actually on that. I can be a bit faster than I think I am. Yes.
Marta, did you write? You wrote something in?
No, I forgot. Oh, no. I think, but I can tell a bit about. I forgot to send it in.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on puzzle friendships? Do you have any? How did they come into fruition? Tell us a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. So when I started speedpuzzling, I mostly did it on my own, and at some point I had some friend that I just studying friends that I knew that would join me for one competition. But then for the world, of course, I would need a team and things like that. And then I actually someone contacted me to ask if I could if I would want to join their team, which is really fun. Which was the team I went to with World, and was also my Paris partner, Martine. And I think that really also bonded as a group of friends, but also just being at Worlds, we had a very tight group of Dutch people actually. So we had a very cool group, which I really enjoyed. And I think now also that now they're becoming more and more puzzle events. So for example, there's going to be a marathon, I think in May in Germany. And then with some of those people I met at Worlds, we're going to have a team and go there, for example. So it's really, I don't know, you keep meeting the people that you meet in the beginning because you all go to kind of these similar events, which is really fun.
Yeah. And have some of your friendships extended outside of the puzzling world, or are they all kind of revolving around puzzles only?
I think usually when we come together, it is for puzzling purposes, but I do also notice that with some friends that we really have also other things in common and puzzling, and then it goes a bit broader than that. No, true, definitely.
Any tips for people who are still looking for puzzle friends?
Oh, it's hard. I think I had a bit of luck. I think that I was I guess relatively good. So I could.
So people reached out to you.
Someone asked me to be part of their team, and that was really helpful for me. So I didn't have to make the first step. But also, I think the first time I really met with all the kind of speed puzzlers in the Netherlands was because of we just had a puzzling day organized by the Speed Puzzling the Netherlands organization, and those more casual and things like that. And it really helped also to meet people there actually, which was really nice. So also the more casual events also really help and make it, you have also more time to get to know people. So that helps a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
Have you ever been nervous to puzzle with somebody else? Like, has there been somebody where you're like, I don't know, man, they're like really cool, and like I don't want to put a piece in wrong and then make them think that I don't know what I'm doing. Like, have you ever felt like that while puzzling with somebody?
Not yet, I think. Definitely when we were first with our team getting together the first time, it was a bit kind of, you're touching each other's hand because you're fast and like, but you get rid of that like after one puzzle. I think it's fine. I do think, I mean, I haven't puzzled yet with all the cool people, so maybe that's it. I do remember that at some I think online with Instagram, I said to Victor that we should puzzle together at Worlds, and we never did that. And maybe I never did that because of the I got a bit nervous to puzzle with all the cool, super fast people. But I think now also when it was the first year I went to Worlds, of course. So I mean, I think now we're all getting a bit more comfortable within the community as well and meeting new people. So I think that will go away also a bit.
Have you had other people be starstruck around you, because you are one of the super cool fast people? Just throwing that out there.
Fair, yeah, no, a little bit, but not. I think one or two people. But I don't have crowds of fans, but I'm very thankful for that as well. No, and I enjoy puzzling with all the I don't have to necessarily want only to puzzle with all the best people in the world. I really enjoy puzzling with anyone that enjoys it as well. So that's.
Wait a second. Sorry. I just want to. Does this mean that you're just a normal human? that you're just a human like the rest of us that just likes puzzling?
Yes, I think so.
That's crazy. Because I know there's lots of people like in the chat or around that like they see a super fast puzzler do an amazing job, like do all this, and there's sort of this like, oh, I shouldn't like try to hang out with them or anything like that. But you seem totally reasonable to approach and hang out with and possibly puzzle.
Yeah, no, I think everyone in the puzzle community is that way. I also at Worlds, I talked to a lot of different people who I think everyone's very open to talk with other people and to puzzle with other people as well. So I think that's also the beauty of the community in that sense.
Yeah, Jim, have you been starstruck by anyone you saw at Worlds last year?
Oh, absolutely. Basically everyone. Because I am extremely impressed by everybody's puzzling. There's a lot of people that I have been fangirling over for a long while. Marja, you are one of those people that I was like, Marja. Whenever you went by, like I was excited to get to see Tobias. I was like, I was just I was genuinely overwhelmed to be in a room with people that I had only seen through a small screen or like met online. And so in that way, it was a little overwhelming for me to be around all of that all at once, which was really, really cool.
But I think it goes both ways. I think there are probably a lot of puzzlers excited to meet you and Michelle, and then you doing the commentary and stuff. I think that's you were definitely one who people were watching as well.
I was kind of surprised about that, to be honest.
Yeah.
The level that was. I was kind of surprised about it, but it's also kind of cool. Like it's nice to know that the things that you do to try to help the community out come across that way, and people enjoy it and get a kick out of it. So that's always really cool.
Definitely.
Yeah. I'm campaigning for the word puzzle-lebrity to be a thing.
Oh.
I can get behind that. That's a fun word.
Yeah. Puzzle celebrity.
Yeah.
Puzzle-lebrity. Puzzle-lebrity?
Puzzle-lebrity.
Yeah, I don't think it works the other way. Celebrity? No,
The Lebrity puzzle, no.
No. Celebre Puzzle D.
Work in progress. Work in progress.
We're
I think,
workshopping it.
Yes.
yeah. I think
Okay,
Puzzle
Marta.
already worked.
Thank you so much, Marta, for joining us for our chat. We're going to let you go and enjoy the rest of your evening. And yeah, have
Yes.
fun watching the rest of the stream.
Yes. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Congratulations.
All right. So in the meantime, we had the finishers were just like rolling in. We are right now at 36 finishers, which is about half of all the participants today. So half of the people are done, and we are only at 1 hour and 4 minutes, and there's technically still 56 minutes left in this competition. So
yeah,
we're doing
we had
well.
26. We had 26 finishers, all under an hour. The one cutting it the closest was Freya at 59:50, and just over the hour was Maya at an hour and 2.5 seconds, and Arcadius 2 seconds after that. So many people very, very close. That's within the as Catherine would say, within the margin of a sneeze. So very, very well done to be down in that, and people are still pushing through. This is a really difficult puzzle, and now folks are rolling in. They're getting the rest of that background worked out. You can see that Lisa is working on the inside. We can see Kinga is working on the outside. Aiden's working on the inside. Just those reds remaining. Who's going to be able to lock this one up? Arya doing a great job, has rotated the puzzle so that way all those pieces have easy access. There's great puzzling happening here as folks finish this this unreleased puzzle up.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to see that like a lot of people are finishing with the border, or like with the blues, and a lot of people are also finishing in the middle. So it's kind of like split in half, like where people are finishing, kind of.
Indeed. Oh, I get so excited. You can see Arya getting those last couple of pieces in, runs over and hits it. There we go. Congratulations. Just over the hour 5 mark. Aiden hits the button as well.
Yeah.
This is really, really great. Well, I think we have somebody in the wings waiting to pop on here. Rachel, are you hanging out?
Rachel.
Hi.
Like you are, for example, a person I would love to meet in person, because we've chatted so often in the EJJs,
Yes,
but we never met in real life.
Are you going to Munich?
Yeah.
I'll see you there then.
Cool. I'm going to be excited. I'll be fangirling over you. I'm going to be like, hi, you know, it's me.
It'll be mutual, so don't worry.
Aw. Rachel, tell us, what are your impressions of the puzzle?
So going in, I was kind of expecting something a bit tricky, because I'd seen some times that people put on from the Flex meeting sort of on Instagram yesterday. And when I opened it, I was actually really pleasantly surprised. Like, it's such a beautiful puzzle, and actually a little bit more sortable and like breakdownable than I expected. I sort of looked at the middle and realized it's quite repetitive, so I decided to go for the more background first approach. I actually started with the green bushes at the bottom in the 2 corners, and also the green pods on the top left corner, and then built up from there. So I did the like path in between the 2 green things. I did all of the like kind of pale blue and white clouds, then did the ladybird, and then at that point then started doing more pick and place in the middle. But it really helped me to get like a bit of a frame and a few islands, so that it wasn't so hard to pick and place. I had a bit of an idea of where things would go.
Yeah, that
So
makes
cool.
total sense.
Oh, sorry, Catherine. I just got excited. It's just so cool how you're able to use so many different techniques on one puzzle. Usually it's the case that like you do one thing like 90% of the time, and then you do fill in at the end or something along those lines.
No,
Was
it's
it-
a
was
really
it-
varied puzzle, because then at the end as well, you finish with like, it's almost like shape work, because then you're left with all that pure blue. So it's a really good one for testing lots of different kind of skills.
Indeed. Which parts of it sort of speak to you the most in terms of your natural puzzle strategies?
I think probably the like big background section. So I really liked doing the blue and white, like that big cloud towards the bottom. And like the ladybird is kind of got a gradient on it as well. So that detail really helped put that together quite nicely. I think pick and place is probably less of a strength, and particularly with this where like it is so similar. Marcia was saying with all the mechanics and like the pipes and stuff, I was thinking, oh, it's a pipe, it will go there. And then like if you look at the picture, there are so many pipes all over that like puzzle. So yeah, like you have to really start using like the very subtle differences. So like slight differences in like width of pipes and texture and color, and it's a real fun one to like work your way through.
Yeah, I could see if you're not real familiar with a lot of steampunk art that you wouldn't think to look at it that way as like a default. Is this kind of artwork up your alley in any way, or is this kind of like outside your normal wheelhouse?
I like it. I don't like. I haven't seen a lot of it. Like I just haven't come across it a lot in my life. But I really like it. I think this like more than steampunk is slightly brighter colors as well. And I think having that sort of twist on the steampunk is a really nice way to do it.
Yeah, someone in the comments before was mentioning that it reminded them of the game Spiritfarer.
Oh, it does. I've played that game and it
Okay,
really
I was just gonna like say like who knows this game, because yeah, it is, and it's kind of like this. And also you know, you have these in Spiritfarer, these different rooms that have different functions, and here as well you have like the bed, the kitchen, the the living room, like all of these like little different things. So when
the way
when
you build your boat on Spiritfarer, like it's kind of a little bit higgledy-piggledy, isn't it? Like you gradually add like little extra bits on, and the way this is like constructed is really similar to that.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask you the same question I asked Bartu before. What's your favorite detail of the puzzle?
I did like all the birds. They were really cute little details. And the washing on the line. I really liked the washing on the line.
Yeah, me too. I was like, ooh, especially the little underwear is super cute.
I also really like the sort of old man in the window on the green, just sort of reading in bed. Like that was just like a really cute little detail.
Yeah, there's so many little like cute things in the puzzle.
Yeah, for sure. I'm amazed really, like it's designed by someone who's obviously not a puzzler, but it is such a good sort of puzzle image. Like it's really great how it worked out like that.
Yeah. Do you have any questions for that person? Because then we can relay it soon when we're gonna talk to him.
I guess like if he is like a non-puzzler, how did he approach like going through his artwork and deciding what would be a good image for a puzzle? Like if he doesn't know puzzles, like how did that process go? Would be quite interesting to hear about.
Okay, noted. And then you did write something in for the question of today. Do you remember what it was, or do you want me to like read it so to jog your memory a bit?
You can read it. If you read it back, then.
Okay, you said they have meant so much to me. They meaning the puzzle
friends I've made. Yeah.
I've had a tough couple of years after an old injury resurfaced unexpectedly, and speed puzzling and the community have really given me something to focus on and enjoy away from my usual more active hobbies like swimming, hiking, bouldering. So many people have been so kind to me, and I have had the best time meeting people in person and online too.
Yeah, I think like for me, finding the hobby and the community of speed puzzling just came at the like most perfect moment in my life where I really needed that community and something else that I could do. And then like going to my first competition, UK Nationals last year, and just how encouraging and supportive like everyone I met was about joining online competitions and going to worlds, and just the community was right there, and it was so easy to just fit into it. And then like through that, just like amazing friendships that I've made. Like Abby, my pairs partner from Worlds last year, we met on an online puzzle competition and we just paired up because we wanted to go to Worlds and had an amazing time. We've been to the marathon and stayed together in Trier. Emma Quirk from Ireland, I met for the first time sort of at UK Nationals, and we're going to pair together next year at Worlds. And I've just been over to Ireland visiting her and doing the Irish competition.
Yeah.
That. And then also Graham and Jodie, who run the UK Puzzle Guzzle. I knew them from that, and I spent a lot of time hanging out with them at Worlds. They actually live 20 minutes drive away from my house. So we've like had a lot of fun times hanging out. And my boyfriend, Mike, is one of those non-puzzling sort of hanging out with everyone in the puzzling community. And I think he's found the same thing, that like how welcoming everyone's been. And I don't think he expected to go to Worlds and come back with friends, and he did. So it's been just an amazing community. And like I said in the answer, just what I needed like at that point in my life. It's been such a like lifeline for me.
Yeah. Yeah, the puzzle community is so great. You don't even have to be a puzzler to be part of it. Yeah, and I love the community you guys have over in the UK, because I can see, you know, there's always people in the chat that are supporting. Every time there's anyone from, you know, that group like participating in anything, you always have like cheers and like a whole fan club over there. So yeah.
So we have like a really active Discord group that has been set up in sort of the last 6 months, and we do like weekly like Zoom calls where we like puzzle together. Every time there's an EJJ, we'll talk about who's participating and let's cheer them on. How did you find the puzzle? So it's really like welcoming and easy to chat to everyone, and we're all sort of looking out for each other in that community. It's really nice.
Yeah, that's lovely. Well, hold on to your community. And yeah, we'll let you go. Thank you so much for coming back in, so we could interview you for a little while. And yeah, it's always nice chatting with you, Rachel.
Thank you. And I'll see you soon, hopefully.
Bye.
And you too, Jim. Bye.
Congrats. Very, very well done.
Thank you.
Jim, why don't you catch us up on what has been going on while we were chatting away?
Oh gosh. Well, we've had over 50 finishers in an hour and 10 minutes. We've gotten 3 new finishers since then, trying to vie for that sub hour 15 line. Madara and Meineke and Janine were all able to squeeze under that line. But now we are coming up on the hour and 16-minute and 35-second line, and so we are starting to get further and further away from that. We're going to keep. We have a couple of times that are getting adjusted and getting checked for sanity's sake. I'm trying to pull up the results here real quick so I can triple check a lot of those. Got to scroll the other way. Apologies for my little bit of scrambling here. But you can see that on screen right now, Maya is coming into the close, as well as Linda. Christina in the lower left has just those blue remaining. Bibi has the blue outside remaining, working on the edges, so close to the screen, so close to the puzzle image to wrap it up. You can see that Melina in the lower middle is doing a great job, has some fill-in to do with those darker browns, some of those pipings. And then in the lower right, Eric, the not-so-speedy speed puzzler, who I think is actually just a speed puzzler in disguise, is finishing up the cloud area in the lower right, and is then going to be able to move on towards those darker blues. But this is really exciting. I know so many of these puzzlers have been trying to stay focused, trying to move quickly, keep the physicality going for an hour and 17 minutes so far. And this point, they need just a little more push in order to wrap this up. So if you're in the live chat, cheer these folks on. They're doing an amazing job. This is not an easy puzzle, and we want everybody to get the best time that they can on the day on the puzzle that's in front of them, and they're doing a great job.
Yes, and on that point about the puzzle and like how difficult it seems to be for some of these people, why don't we invite in the maker, the creator, the creative brain behind this puzzle, Alexander Glonin? If you can hear me, I see that he's like in the chat, but I don't know if you can hear me. You can turn on your camera.
I'm here.
Hi.
Hi. Hi.
Hi.
Hi.
So, what do you think? Like, maybe first, what's your impression of this like crazy competition that these people are doing online with the creation of yours?
Some of them are so fast, I'm still amazed. Building a 500-piece puzzle so fast. I really want to understand how they did it. I'm actually going to talk to the group that we have here in Bucharest that does puzzles. I know the founder. He's actually who recommended me to give my artwork for this, and I want to know some tips.
Yeah, so you think you might be, have you puzzled your own puzzle yet?
A long time ago? No, no, I didn't have the time, unfortunately. But I want to do it this week. I did puzzles before, a long time ago, but I used to do 1,000-piece puzzles usually. But 500 should be also very, very good and a good start to restart this.
So, Alexander, tell us, how did this come into fruition? So you mentioned a friend of yours recommended your art to be on the puzzle. Can you tell us the story?
So a couple of years back, I met the founder of the Bucharest Jigsaw Puzzle Club here in Romania. I met him at a fair because I also attend sometimes fairs to sell my artworks, to sell prints, stickers. And I met up with him, and last year he knew what I do, and he told me, listen, these people are looking for artworks to make puzzles out of. Send them a few things. Initially, I saw that you should be at least a puzzler. And I told him, listen, I don't do this. Is it okay? He's like, yeah, send it anyway. You might get something. And yeah, it worked. And I sent a lot of artworks, and yeah, this one got picked.
It's so cool that you were able to make, to me, a very unique and well-designed image for a puzzle. And I know I'm sure you were listening, and we were kind of talking about there's so many different techniques that you kind of need to really be able to approach this. Whenever you were making this image, was it like what was the original media or kind of end result you were thinking of it for originally?
So first of all, Jim, thank you for all your compliments because I heard everything from the very beginning.
And I mean every one of them. I'm not blowing smoke. It's a fantastic image.
So I work only on traditional mediums. I sometimes use digital, but in very rare cases when I actually have a work to do. I use only traditional mediums. I drew this on craft paper. I use only craft paper. That's why the image is a bit darker than
Wait,
usual.
this is craft paper?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
It's craft paper from a company called Müller, and it's acid-free. I've been using it for years now. And everything is done traditionally. So initially, I just draw with the pencil. I draw a sketch. And actually, that's what I did while I was listening to you. I drew the sketch of the next image I'm going to make. Then I use ink to draw the lines. Then I color in everything. I use Copic markers. These are alcoholic professional markers from Japan. The reason why I use them because they blend in a certain way. I haven't seen any other markers that can blend in this way. The blending can be seen mostly on the ladybug. That blending is something I cannot achieve with any other markers. And basically, yeah, I put in the colors, and after that, I again apply ink. So the lines are much more clearer because initially when I apply ink, I have to erase the pencil. And when I erase the pencil, the lines aren't very clear anymore. So I put in the color and then I put in the ink again. It takes a long time, but it
Yeah,
works.
I was about to say that sounds wildly intensive and not
It is.
something that you would just do in like an hour and a half on a coffee break, right? Like,
No. This usually lasts maybe, if I work daily, this might last maybe 3 days or 4 days.
so how does it I know we kind of touched on it earlier. How does it feel that you spent probably around 4 days making an image like this, and then some of these folks are able to get it done in about an hour and 20 minutes? Just piecing it together. Like, do you feel a little bit like, oh, I should have made it harder? Or does it feel like, wow, it's really, really great that you made something that they're able to chew through so quickly?
Okay, I've heard what the people also said that, yeah, for some it was difficult because you had a lot of pipes and you had to figure out like which pipe goes where and stuff. I understand, but yeah, it is very nice to hear that some people also said that, yeah, it was nice to have so much detail in it. I have some stuff that it's much more detailed than this. This is like medium for me. Um, but I think the more detailed stuff would be very difficult. But this one, yeah, I like hearing. Plus, I like hearing another thing that people notice the birds.
Mhm.
Because in most of my works, especially from this period when I used to do something like this, I used to put like Easter eggs or things that people would notice. The idea is I always made works that would make a person stop and look at it.
Mhm.
I don't like works that are very simple that the person would just look and it's a portrait. Okay, nice portrait, and that would just go away. I like to put in details so people stop and look for little details, like in
Mhm.
this work, for example. And that
Can you
was very nice to see. Yeah, please.
Can you tell us a little bit more about, because I just pulled up your Instagram and I just scrolled through to have a look kind of like at your body of work, and I see a lot of robots. I
Yeah.
see a lot of like mechanical things, but can you tell us a little bit about like what inspires you?
So I started. No, I've been drawing for all my life, basically. But the robot started maybe about 9 years ago, I think. The idea with robots was that I can draw anything, but I can make it interesting by making it robotic. And basically, you can make anything in robots. You can make insects, you can make animals, you can make people, you can make anything you want. And that's a thing because at some point I was making work that was okay, but it wasn't unified. I didn't have like one topic. And I didn't want to get stuck in one topic, like, I don't know, draw only portraits, draw only sceneries. I wanted to have a common thread that would allow me to draw anything I wanted, hence the robots. And what inspires me is, well, Jim was right about Ghibli, yes, because I'm a big fan of Ghibli. And honestly, I didn't want to make this look like Ghibli. I just wanted to draw a ladybug with things on it. But I realize now that it looks like Howl's Moving Castle. Ghibli was also an
But what I,
inspiration. Please, sorry.
what I love about it is that it really uh, makes people like their imagination go immediately, because yeah, it's a robot shaped like a ladybug, but is it also ladybug sized, or is it like a big sized ladybug? Are the people sized, or are they tiny people? You know, those were like all the questions that I was asking myself as I was
Yeah,
putting this
that makes
together.
sense. Well, considering the size of the birds, they're kind of people sized. They should be people sized. If I don't think the birds would be that small. The ladybug, yeah, would probably be big. But the gnome, the idea was why I used gnomes when I was very little. Well, actually, for most of my life, I've been collecting Kinder toys.
Mm.
Kinder collections, the old ones from the 90s. I still have them. And some of the collections were actually gnomes. There were several collections which were gnomes, and hence my little obsession with gnomes. Because each of those gnome toys, they used to do different things. Like one used to make pottery, the other one was doing some woodwork, and I kind of got inspired by that. That's why you have a cook, you have a a sweeper, you have a tinkerer that handles the robot and controls it. And yeah, that was the idea.
I love that you went through the thought process of like what would a day-to-day life look like
Yeah.
in this
Yeah.
in this world, and then actually made it happen. Like one of the little things that I like is that there's actually clothes hanging on a wire to dry next to a telescope. Like that's such a lovely little add-on in there that
Thank you.
that doesn't need to exist. Like you could have just as easily picked a dryer to put on there, but it makes sense that if you have this creature that's walking around, you would get some breeze going.
I also like, this is also maybe inspired by Ghibli, but also for myself, I like simple things. Like again, with the drying, I like when clothes are put out to dry, not just put a dryer because it's just a machine which has clothes inside it and there's not really much to illustrate. Plus, that's also what I find attractive in Ghibli, because they also show older times when things were more simplistic. And I like to simplify things because, yeah, we have technology now, we have a lot of more advanced things. But I like the fact that I can go around without them. I can actually work without them. And I like to illustrate this also to remind people that we can also do things by hand and it still works.
It's so cool that you have this really interesting dichotomy of things that are robotic and complicated and a lot of gears and moving, and also stripping it down to some of the things that can just be the simplest versions of themselves. It's such a cool split. I'm just gushing over everything about this
Thank you.
because I'm a huge nerd.
Well, it's something like complicated things doing simple stuff. So that's the kind of idea, I guess.
And you're also using a simple medium. I mean,
Yeah.
the paper that you're using is simple, but then the pens that you're using are like more high tech in a way, like alcohol markers, from Japan. That is something you couldn't have like 100 years ago. But
True.
so this blend, and I think it comes through like in the image, because you can feel it feels nostalgic and yet it also feels futuristic at the same time.
Thank you. Yeah, I never got into digital. I've been drawing also digitally for 15 years. But it's not the same. I like to have a physical paper with the drawing in front of me when I'm finished and not printed. So yeah, for example, this work, the original work, was sold about 3 or 4 years ago. So yeah, I like to have the physical thing in front of me. Plus, when I have a exhibit, I can actually show the original works. And a lot of people, for example, they don't understand immediately that this is done by hand. Because of that, I usually have to bring some original pieces, especially at fairs when I go with print. I bring a few original pieces and show them also. When I show them the back, because the color, it goes through. So you can actually see that it's traditional.
Yeah.
And when they see it, they say usually, "Oh, I thought this was digital." I'm like, "No, everything is done by hand." And yeah.
So
yeah, it makes
so
it more
like
impressive.
so like images like this, like I think that they're like excellent hanging on walls. They should be in museums and art. Like, where does your art tend to show up?
So for example, I've sold to a lot of private collectors. It's on a lot of walls. I even, some of my friends, I forget that I sold them something, and then when I go to their place and just to have some tea, I said, I actually sold you something, and I see an old piece or something. Some of my work is I've done work for children's magazines, which allowed me also to use, for a Romanian children's magazine. I've worked for a few years. It's one of the few places which allowed me to use exactly my style, not with robots, but I drew on craft paper with Copic markers and with ink. I've also done children's books. Actually, there's also a German children's book which is on Amazon, done also by me. I've
What's the names of some of those
uh,
books? Because I think a couple people might be interested in hunting them down.
the one that's in German, I don't want to butcher the name in German, but there's also it was translated also in English. It's called Tommy and the Strange Days. It was launched in 2022. So it's in English and in German. You can find it both. But I think the German version might not be available at the moment. I don't know why. I'm gonna meet the writer next month, and I will ask her why. But yeah, so that's the one on Amazon. And so I've done this. I've done some children's book in Romania also, but those ones are very different, style wise, because I had to adapt them for kids. And at least here, what I did for Romanian writers, I had to simplify it a lot, which wasn't really my thing, but nah, it was still a pleasure to work on. And the last but not least, I actually wrote a book last year, and that book was published, and it has exactly my type of artwork. So steampunk, well, it's not steampunk per se, it's neo steampunk. Because
Yeah, Steam adjacent. Yeah.
Yeah, because steampunk is a bit different. What I have is neo steampunk. I oscillate between neo steampunk and diesel punk. With the robots, it's more diesel punk, but this is, for example, neo steampunk. And I wrote a book last year. It's called The Wandering Mermaid. It's only in Romanian at the moment. And yeah, it was launched last year, and it has everything there is strictly my artwork with steampunk, and the same works on craft paper. Everything is done by hand, nothing digitally.
That's really cool. Someone wants to know if you're a full-time artist, or if you do this only on the side, because that would make it even more impressive somehow, I think.
I wish I was a full-time artist, but I'm not. I work full-time. I work in a corporation, so I have a day job, and this I do in the evenings and at night. I've been doing this for almost 10 years. I draw daily, and yeah, so I do this on the side. This is a side business for me.
That makes it even more impressive because of all the things that you just mentioned that you did, and then I'm assuming you're going like art fairs, which means you need to have product that you can sell. So it's like a whole operation that's going on like on the side to like a normal
Art
9 to 5.
fairs. I do a lot of things. So I do this. Sometimes I do art fairs, although I kind of stopped it for a while because I'm lacking in time. And I for example, I'm working on my next book right now, which I also need to dedicate some time for illustrating it because the book is written, but I need to illustrate it. Also, every 2 weeks I go out with a group, and it's actually a world. It might be a world. Actually, it is a worldwide thing. Urban Sketchers. It's a group we have here also in Romania, in Bucharest, and in several other cities. It's just a group we meet up twice a month, and we go out and we draw everything we see. I use it to try out other mediums to be versatile. But I still draw on my style. And I also write a lot of books, and I need to illustrate them. And I need to illustrate 2 books which I've already written, and I need to write another book about my cat, which will also take some time. And no, it will take some time. There's a lot of things I have to do, and I have very little time at this point.
I was about to say, do you ever sleep? Like it just sounds like you're working or drawing, or like it just sounds like you're burning the candle at both ends, man.
When I sleep, I wake up and I write because I usually get my ideas for writing while I sleep.
Very efficient.
Yeah, I draw. Yeah, I draw sometimes through the night. Well, not through the night, but until maybe 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. Depends on how well it's going. But it's yeah, it takes up a lot of time. Of a very I don't remember the last day I had, which I had the day which I could relax. or do something not art related, like maybe
Yeah.
play a game. Or I watch a lot of movies though, and draw while I watch them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I watch a lot
You
of
were
movies.
so close to having a relaxing moment to be like, I watch the movies, and then I draw while I'm watching. No, it's like, no, give yourself a minute.
I sometimes go to the cinema, which makes it impossible to draw there because it's dark. So if
Yeah.
I watch a movie at home, I can draw. But if I cannot draw at the cinema, so I try sometimes to take an hour or two just to go to the cinema.
Well, in my area, they just started doing craft cinemas, which is where you go and then they don't turn down the light, and people literally bring their crafts. Usually like people knitting or crocheting or like stitching or something like that. So maybe you have
That is
something
very
like that
dangerous.
in Bucharest as well.
That would be very dangerous
It's so
for
much
me.
fun.
Yeah, it is fun. Yeah, it is fun. Because again, I draw when I watch a movie at home, and yeah, it is fun.
Mhm.
I probably would find another thing I can do, but I don't think I have the time anymore.
Well, I think, another thing you could do is illustrate more puzzles, because I feel like a lot of people are big fans, and
Thank you.
it sounds like so this is an illustration that you had done a while back, and you had sent a selection of your images to Michelle, and then Michelle selected this one, right? Is that kind of? But what would you do if you knew that you were gonna design something specifically for a puzzle? Do you think you would approach it differently?
Yeah, I would approach it differently a bit. I actually was taking notes while you were having other interviews just to understand exactly what people are looking for. So I've
Mhm.
heard that some people considered this work a bit dark, which I understand, and yeah, I do see it. I would try to make it a bit lighter. For example, the work I have now, I sketched something out this that I want to propose to Michelle later on, and I need to work on it. So something a bit lighter. Still a lot of details. I would tone down the pipes maybe, because yeah, I do understand that you would need to understand where the pipe is from, and yeah, I tried at least here they were textured a bit differently, and you could figure out, but some of them are textured very similarly, and I do understand when you're doing it fast, you might need to pay a bit more attention, which would be a bit more frustrating probably.
Mhm.
I would make some more little details that would be very characteristic on, for example, for a certain side. Like I assume that if you look at the birds, you could kind of understand where that bird is and where that piece would go immediately.
Mhm.
So I would put in those type of little details, more of these details, so you could figure out where exactly that piece would go and go from it forward. So I do understand that the details they might actually help, because some of them, like for example, you have the green screens which are in the cabin with the gnome which is controlling the whole thing.
Mhm.
You can understand exactly where those pieces are coming from.
Yeah.
Another thing would be the purple window behind that gnome. It's the only, well, kind of the only purple window. You also have some a bit of purple with the gnome that's sleeping. But you kind of, I think you can kind of figure out immediately almost exactly where those purple pieces would go.
Mhm.
The telescope, the TV on the second floor, the fridge, yeah, because there are no other white pieces like that. Let's see what else. The smoke coming from the pipes, because there are only 3 smokes coming from there. So yeah, I would put in some details that would be characteristic for that site only. So something more unique.
Mhm.
Which
It sounds
exactly that?
like
Yeah,
you were really good at listening and like or thinking, how could I
I'm,
implement these things into a new image? So I'd
exactly
be
that's
very
why I
excited.
was listening from the very beginning, just to understand. So uh Martia, I think she said that she noticed the birds. That's already a good thing. So I
Mhm.
can introduce small pieces, and yeah, I will introduce more birds, because the next one also has to have birds. And I like the comparison with Spiritfarer. Um, I didn't play the game before I made this, so I had no clue of the game. I actually played the game, I think, a couple of years back. I
Yeah,
finished
I
it.
don't think it was out before. This was
It was.
Yeah.
It was launched in 2020 actually. I looked it up while you were talking about it. I looked it up. It was launched in 2020. I played it a couple of years back. It's a beautiful game. I loved it. I finished it. It's an amazing game. But yeah, I do understand the comparison with the boat, with the many floors when you build it up,
Yeah.
and yeah. It's honestly, it was an honor to be compared to that. And yeah. So yeah, I did take some notes. Let's say the next illustration that I'm gonna make is gonna be like a test to see how I understood it, how I implemented everything, and to see how it works.
I mean, seeing how well this one worked, you know, I think you're in really good shape, sir. Like this
Thank
is
you.
it's really phenomenal stuff. And you know, I know my initial reaction was like, oh, this is it's like Howl's Moving Castle inspired. That's
Yeah.
because anytime you have like a big building looking thing that's walking, like
Mhm.
that's just the thing because it's been around for a while. But this is so clearly different from that in how like light it is and in how
Yep.
much little detail there's like it's so clever in a lot of little ways.
Thank you.
I absolutely adore it. um
I'll tell you a
yeah,
little
just
secret.
oh please.
The cloud behind the ladybug, the white cloud, is I actually stole the technique from Ghibli. It's done specifically as per Ghibli, how Ghibli does it.
Well, you know, some when it works, it works, and it's a great
Yeah.
setup.
It was a very simple way to make something like I had to make a contrast between the blue and something else because I didn't want to make the background just blue. So I had to make a white space, but I didn't want to have just white space. It didn't look good. So I found how Ghibli does it. They added the blue tints on the clouds to make it a bit more complex. Hence the cloud here.
It makes total sense, and just the way that the mechanics of the ladybug work, it's like it looks
Thank
like it's in motion without having to be in motion, which
you.
is wildly difficult to do whenever you have a stop image. I can't say enough wonderful things about this.
Thank you.
Alexander, if people wanted to like reach out to you and say hi and sing the praises of this puzzle to you, what
Thank
is the
you.
best way for people to get a hold of you?
Instagram. I'm always on Instagram. So on Instagram, Ruro Illustrations. I think you should have. Yeah, you have the Instagram on the box under my picture.
Yeah, I just followed you before, so
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, so that's the best way because I'm always on Instagram.
Okay, and is it Ruro Illustrations or
Yeah,
Rutro?
Ruro.
Okay,
Ruro.
okay,
Yeah.
all right. I wasn't sure if it was more like the Scooby Doo pronunciation or more, you know, Rutro. No. Ruro makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it's absolutely lovely. Well,
Thank you.
thank you so much for a wonderful image, and I'm excited to like discover more of your artwork and see more of it in the future. Do you have any shout outs, anything you want to say to the puzzle world before we let you on to your next adventure?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. This was the first time I attended an event like this, and I think it's wonderful. You both are wonderful commentators. I had a few friends actually come into the stream also, and they were just amazed. They said, like, anytime you have something like this, tell us. We want just to come and see. So yeah, thank you for everyone. I also read the comments on the chat. Thank you everyone for very nice comments. I smiled throughout the whole thing. I had a big grin on my face. And again, thank you for this, and thank you, Michelle, for picking my illustration because this really made my year.
yes,
Well,
thank you so much for coming in and chatting to us and sharing a little
Thank
bit more about your world. And then hopefully we'll see you again in the future with another
Thank you.
illustration.
I hope so too. I hope so too.
That'll be great. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you around.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Okay, and in the meantime, actually, everyone has finished.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
I missed the last two finishes. I'm so sorry. I'm so
Well,
sorry.
yeah,
Congratulations.
Yeah, so there were a few people that like left, I think, because maybe they felt a little bit overwhelmed with the amount of pieces they still had left to do. But technically, the stream is still going, and we have Eileen here waiting for us
Lovely.
to talk about puzzle friendships.
Hi.
Hi.
One of my puzzles friends, Catherine.
Yes.
You were my first puzzle friend. I
Aw.
met you at the Dutch Nationals.
Yeah. So do you wanna tell the story, or should I tell the story of how we met?
Go ahead.
So, okay, from my perspective, it was like this. I was at the Dutch Nationals. I was just chatting to some people. Kieran is coming up to me and he's like, I know your voice. Are you one of the commentators from the EJJ? And I'm like, yes, I am. And I started chatting to Kieran, and that's how I met him. And then a little bit later in the day, I was in the like lobby area and Kieran was sitting there and you were sitting there with Kieran, and he was like, Catherine, come sit with us. And he like introduced us. And then eventually he left and we just kept chatting and chatting and chatting until the next round started. So yeah, that's kind of how I experienced it.
Yeah. It was my first introduction into speed puzzling, and everyone was so nice. I started talking to Kieran and he introduced me to some people, and it was just a joyous day.
Yeah.
That sounds wonderful. And Kieran's a wonderful human being, so I can only imagine how well that went off.
And Catherine,
Yeah,
actually, I was only doing the solo Dutch Nationals because I didn't know anyone. And Catherine was so nice to introduce me to Jan Silo, the father of Ellen and Inge. And I got to do a pairs competition with him the next day, thanks to her. So yeah.
You know, Jim, what you have to know is she came there and she didn't know she was good. So she did like this.
You're one of those people.
You know, she did like the individual round. She placed really high. I'm like, you have to stay for the pairs. Like, what are you doing? She reconvened with her husband. Yeah, can I do it? Can I not do it? Is it logistically possible for me to stay? I'm like, just come here tomorrow morning. I'll try to organize someone for you. And, you know, Ellen and Inge came just for pairs. And they brought their dad because they were on like a whole family trip that weekend, or like a family gathering or a big family something, and they could only make those few hours to come and do the pairs. And you know, they just were like, yeah, Dad, come with us, we'll find someone for you. And like somehow magic happened. And yeah.
Yeah, I think he was supposed to pair up with his other daughter, Mandy, and she got ill, and so yeah.
Well, it's really great how that worked out and how you were able to. Were you nervous to team up with other people?
Definitely. And he was so nice. He was like explaining everything. And I think back a lot on that conversation because he gave some really helpful tips during the time, but I wasn't able to fully digest them yet at the moment because I was that nervous, and it was a really hard picture. It was a 750 piece puzzle with an elephant.
Oh no!
Yes. But he was so nice. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him. He's going to the World Series, I think, as well. So I'm hoping I get to see him there as well.
Well, that'll be great. I'm excited you two will get to be together and do some puzzling and cheer each other on while you're there. Are you excited for the World Series as well?
Absolutely. I think it's lovely. I think they're really inspiring people, especially women in speed puzzling, organizing these things like Michelle here, and then Nell Townsend for the World Series. And I see marathons in Germany by some top speed puzzlers, and in Belgium as well. And it's really nice to see it's the community growing and everything being so nice, and everyone supporting each other. And yeah, definitely.
And just being welcoming in there. Have you have you gotten to bring other people into the puzzle fold as well now?
Not to the competitive side, but the marathons and stuff. I introduced my friends to the marathon. There was a 10-hour marathon in Ghent, and I brought one of my best friends with me. My sister tagged along. Because it was in Ghent, I got to bring my kids, and they saw some of the puzzling as well. So yeah.
Even if it's not, even if it's not for something competitive, getting people interested in the community and in the hobby in any way, that's a huge win right there, and that's really really wonderful. Is it were your kids into puzzling at all before, or was that marathon kind of their first real foray into giving it a shot?
There's been a lot of puzzles in our house. I'm really the first times they started puzzling, I really had to hold myself back. I'm like, this is their thing. I know where this piece go, but let them find out. And it's ups and downs. Sometimes my eldest really liked it for a bit, doesn't do it now. I have twins, and they now race each other, and they take my box holder and they say like, "Mommy, I need that," and they put the box, and then and they do it against each other, whereas I'm like, you can also pair up and make each other faster, and but I don't want to put any pressure on it. I just want it to be fun for them, and I'm hoping seeing me liking it will make it even nicer for them. But they were into it way before my speed puzzling days started.
And like Catherine said, you are an amazing puzzler. I think what your time on this was an hour and two, something like that, an hour 2 minutes. Is that right? That is an amazing time on this kind of puzzle. Tell us what you thought about the image and sort of how you approached it.
My first thing was like, oh my God, I'm so lucky because we had the Dutch nationals, the Belgian nationals last weekend, and the solo rounds. I didn't know where to start, and I knew where to start here, so it's very glad. I'm like, I can
Don't
do
remind me. Still have like flashbacks from that, like opening that puzzle and going like, "Oh my God, what is?"
I
this?
didn't have a clue. I was like, I couldn't start the border. Here I could start the border, and I did the green on the bottom, and the light green, and the beige, whitish things, and then I got stuck. Because a busy puzzle, I'm more kind of a landscape and a gradient and a sky. Give me a sky, I'm happy. So yeah, I got stuck in the middle a bit, but yeah, I thought it's nice. I can do this, and I get to do this, and I'm lucky. It's yeah. I'm always feeling very happy whenever I get to puzzle.
Yeah. Eileen, can you also tell us about the thing that you wrote in about Rosaline?
Oh, definitely. Oh, Rosaline, and shout out to Rosaline because I heard she got
She came
problems
20 minutes late. Yeah.
Yeah, and we have a group chat. We went on a puzzle weekend a month ago with some Belgians, and then you see back and like, oh no, Rosaline started late, and I hope she's okay. And you see the community getting together, and I just saw her finish, so I'm really happy about that. But I met Rosaline because I sent her an Instagram message because we don't live that far apart from each other. And I really wanted to do EJJ pairs. So I sent her a message not knowing her. And I met her at the 10-hour marathon in Ghent. And right from the bat, I felt really at ease with her. And then we met up. We puzzled some time together. And as I got to know her, she's such an amazing person. I really feel at ease with her, and because it's so easy to communicate with her, I'm at ease and just doing my thing, letting her do her thing, and I truly feel she makes me a better pairs partner. She brings out the best in me. So it's yeah, I can't rave enough about Rosaline as a person, as a puzzle partner in general, and I truly hope next to some other people, she will become a lifelong friend. So yeah.
Yes, sending like all the, I'm like, I just want to go like, I want to send like love emojis, you know. And that's kind of been the theme today, like with everyone. You know, at the beginning of the stream, people were like saying in the chat, like, who's gonna cry first? Is it me? Is it Jim? But yeah.
It's usually me on that one. I'm a sympathetic crier. I fully admit to that. So.
Yeah, I mean, me too. I literally cry every day about something, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, no, it's just so wonderful that there are so many people that are able to bring out the best in each other, and that and then a lot of people are able to recognize that. Like Eileen, it's so cool that you're able to say that like Rosaline brings out the best in you, and that you're able to like realize that in the moment. It's not just a thing of like, oh yeah, I did really well, and how like you're able to recognize that and then know that that's more of a thing that you want in life, and you want to spend more time with people that bring you up, and that's just a beautiful thing in friendship and in the world in general.
Absolutely. And we have the stats to prove it, because we did the Hello Kitty. We did it in pairs and we did it separately. And we crushed it when we did it together. And I know you normally you do it faster when you do it for a second time, but we really crushed it. And now we have the stats to prove it as well. Like, we're better together than we are individually doing something.
So you have an empirical friendship as well as just a qualitative one. That's whenever you throw science at it, that's how you know it's the real deal. That's oh goodness. Well, I really appreciate you getting to hang out with us for a little bit. Do you have any shout outs that you want to give to the puzzle world before getting on with your day?
I just like how everyone's so supportive. At Belgian Nationals, I liked us. I liked the competition as much as meeting everyone, and I didn't get enough time to see everyone. I sent a message to Catherine, and I'm really looking forward to catching up at a later date. I sent a message to Daphne, the judge, after her piece talks competition, saying thank you for because the Dutch Nationals was my first foray or attempt at speed puzzling, and one thing that really got me as well was like how nice the judges were as well. Like everyone was, and you don't have to be, and the commentators are nice. Like, it doesn't have to be nice, but everyone is nice. And
yeah.
My friends are saying whenever I talk about speed puzzling, I start glowing, and I got people excited into puzzling, not necessarily into speed puzzling, but into puzzling, because I, for the first time, I'm so excited. So it's just and it's not only the puzzling, it's especially the people that make it exciting as well.
Well said. I agree. I agree with Kevin. That's just very well said.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
I think that's a lovely way to end our live stream. The timer just hit the 2 hours. I was going to do the countdown, but there was no one there. But thank you so much. Thanks for waiting after you're finished and to join with us and tell us these nice little tidbit stories about your friends and how you met different people. And I think many people have these kind of connection stories. Well, someone needed a pair, or they got introduced to someone accidentally, and then it led to greater things. So that's really lovely. And yes, so that was a lovely live stream. Thank you, Jim and Catherine, for being wonderful hosts, and I love the interview with Alexander. Yes, I've got to get to the airport tomorrow and head over.
I'm excited.
Yes, and so it's only Tuesday, but it feels like it's around the corner. But so obviously there's a break for a while. I'll be at the US Nationals. We also have the German Nationals coming up on the weekend. So wishing all the best luck to everyone who's puzzling. There's going to be more 800 individuals at the US, but including all the people who do pairs and teams, around 1,000 people. And and also a few hundred of people at the Germans. So going to be a busy weekend for puzzle watching.
Going to be a lot of puzzle dust.
Yeah.
But thankfully there's the time delay, so we can like watch Germans during the day and then Americans like in the night.
That's one advantage of having time zone. All right, well, thanks everyone for another great live stream, and hope everyone enjoyed the puzzle. And thank you to all those who followed along on the live stream and sent words of encouragement to the puzzlers. We really appreciate that, and who shared some feedback about the puzzle. And go out, check out Alexander's Instagram, Facebook. He's also got a merch website, and maybe we'll see something more from him in the future. We'll see. All right, thanks everyone. Good night.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye everybody.